So to close out this chapter, let's talk about a few best practices. In general, it is always more efficient to simply load an existing family into your project and use it. If the precise family or type you need is not readily available, you can often find one that's close, and then you can make some quick modifications to it to bring it in line with what you do need. Failing this, you can of course endeavor to build the family yourself. The main focus of this training series is giving you the tools and procedures you need to do just that, to build families yourself. And in the process, you'll be learning the steps and the procedures and the overall tools that you need to actually analyze and assess families that you may be downloading or accessing from other sources. So in the interest of best practices, let's kind of walk through those basic steps that you should be following, and then keep in mind that in the training series, we'll be building most of our families from scratch for the educational value. So of course, the first thing that we want to do is try and find a suitable family. And there's lots of places we might locate a suitable family. For most firms, the first place you should look is the Office Standard Library. You can assume that if you've got anybody on board who serves the role of a CAD or BIM manager, that they probably have a collection of families available that they have sanctioned as official Office Standard content. So that would definitely be the first place to look. The next place you could look is the stuff that's installed out of the box from Autodesk. Depending on your region, what part of the world you're in, you may have different content packs installed. You can choose from among those, and there's lots and lots of families available. Some of it's pretty basic, some of it's a pretty good starting point. And then, of course, there are copious online libraries out there, and you could do an internet search and find lots and lots to choose from. Assuming you find a family in one of those locations that's a good starting point, it's often going to be more efficient for you to take that family, open it up in the family editor, make a few modifications, than to start all over again from scratch. But of course, your third option is to do just that. If you can't find the family that suits the needs you're looking for, it's just simply not available, or for whatever reason you find it easier, then you can certainly do that. And that will be how many of the examples will be created throughout this training series. I want to take a couple minutes to talk about what's installed and also what you can find online. What's installed will vary depending on what region you're in. So if you're in the US and you install the default installation, you'll get both an Imperial and a metric US library. They'll have shortcuts over on the side. And in this case, I have the Imperial library installed over here. And you'll also have on the drop-down under libraries, you'll be able to see what other libraries you have installed. So this particular computer, I have the US Imperial and the US Metric. In other regions throughout the world, when you're installing Revit, you can actually choose different content packs and install other options. So there are several libraries that Autodesk does provide that we have available to us. The other resource we have available from Autodesk is Autodesk Seek. It's an online web portal where you can put in a search. You can tell it which product you're interested in searching for, and of course, all the major Autodesk products are listed. So of course, I've chosen Revit here. And we can type in our search criteria. So perhaps I'm looking for door families. So I can simply put in the word door and press enter in the search field. And you'll see I'll get a variety of door families from which to choose. So the thing you want to look for is this indication right here beneath each item. This particular one says manufacturer. So that's how I know that the source of this family comes from a product manufacturer. Over here on the left-hand side, there are product libraries. The general library or the Revit architecture, Revit MEP structure, these are the out-of-the-box Autodesk libraries. So if I click, for example, on the Revit architecture link, now what you're going to see instead of manufacturer is the word library here. And that's telling me that this content is actually provided by Autodesk as one of the libraries that I actually could install directly, or I can go access it here if I haven't previously installed it. On this side, both here and if I go to the previous page over here, it shows you which file formats are available for that item. So the RFA files is typically what we're looking for if we're interested in families. Those are our family files, but you can see this particular manufacturer is providing this piece of content in a variety of formats. Another place that's pretty popular to look is the Augie website. Augie is the Autodesk Users Group International, and they have a whole series of forums devoted to Revit, and those are broken down into general categories and tips and tricks and so on. And some of these posts are just informational, where people share information with one another and ask questions and answer questions. And in many cases, people actually post families in answer to queries that people might have on the forums. So this is certainly a good place to search. And you can use their search feature over here and put in what you're looking for, and you'll find not only sometimes ready-made families ready to go that you can download, but also explanations and discussions related to those topics. So those are just a few sites. There are dozens, if not hundreds more. And if you do a web search in your favorite search engine, you will no doubt come up with many possibilities. So that gives us an example of some of the places that we can look for content. Remember that it's always easier and usually quicker to start with a family that already exists. If a suitable family is not readily available from any of your installed locations or from the web searches that you do, you can certainly build it yourself. But I would look for opportunities to find a suitable family that already exists, or perhaps one that's close that you can modify, because as I said, that will usually be more efficient. You should also vet any families you download very carefully, particularly if they come from the web. Some of the manufacturer's content and some of the online sites provide very, very high quality content, some of them not so much. So it's going to be up to you to open up those families, take a look at them, and make good decisions about whether or not the content is suitable for the task that you have in mind. And throughout the course of this training series, when you're learning how to create families yourself, you'll also be equipping yourself with the tools you need to be able to properly vet and analyze those downloadable families as well.